Hello, my name is Tressa. Today I will be discussing the three dimensions of science learning. First, I will tell you what the three dimensions mean. Three dimensions refer to the science, content, disciplinary, core ideas, the science skills, engineering practice, and the critical thinking habit, cross-cutting concept that will help develop a scientific way of understanding the world. Engineering practices are the same skills that scientists use to answer questions. Cross-cutting concepts with an organizational framework based on behavior and function that connects ideas. And three, disciplinary core ideas form the basis of what educators would consider STEM content knowledge. The purpose of the three-dimensional learning. Engineering practices. The purpose of this skill and techniques that scientists and engineers use to investigate, explore, and solve problems, such as asking questions, collecting data, and building models. Cross-cutting concept. These are the concepts that apply across all scientific disciplines, helping students see the connections and make sense of the world, such as patterns, cause and effect, and systems. Disciplinary core act ideas. These are the foundations, overall ideas within a scientific discipline such as evolution in biology and forces and motions in physics. Using the phenomenon in inquiry-based learning. Using phenomena and inquiry-based learning, science instructions, science standards, three dimensions by addressing the standard, explain phenomena, motivating students to investigate, develop explanations, encourage students to participate, explore cross-cutting concepts, asking questions, engage in hands-on activities, get an understanding of scientific concepts, allow students to take ownership of learning. The practice in science instructions and examples. Inquiry-based learning motivates students to ask their own questions, analyze data, and draw attention. It helps students connect their investigation and have better understanding. For an example, if students investigate the impact of fertilizer on plant growth, they will form questions, arrange an experiment, and draw a conclusion based on their findings. Students will give a cause and effect. Another practice in science instruction and example is collaborative learning. Students can discuss ideas, share observation, and compare their findings with peers and promoting diverse perspectives on scientific concept. For an example, students will work in group and create a model of a cell. They will discuss the role of each organ and how it connects to the cells. This will help students to understand the cell structure and function. The third practice of science instruction and example, real world application. Students will connect science concepts to real world problems to see what they are learning, and it will encourage their involvement in the classroom. For an example, students will investigate the effects of climate change on local ecosystems by analyzing data on temperature, precipitation, and wildlife population, connecting the climate change, also the cause and effect to a local issue. Now we'll discuss incorporating cross-curricular content. Educators can effectively incorporate cross-curricular content into science instruction by integrating science with other subjects such as math, ELA, and social studies. Teachers can help students make a connection between different subjects. Then they will be able to see how science is relevant in their everyday lives. For an example, vocabulary building can be introduced and reinforce science vocabulary through hunts, puzzles, and other engaging activities. Next is technology enhancing science instruction. Technology enhances science instruction by making learning interactive, personalized, providing access to extensive resources, help with collaborating, virtual experiments, real-time assessments, and visualizing abstract concepts. Examples of technological tools is augmented reality. This tool gives digital information about the real world, increasing visual learning and providing interactive content. For an example, augmented reality could overlay a 3D model of a cell onto a student's textbook, allowing them to explore the cell structure in an interactive way. The second example of technological tools is virtual reality. This tool has created a huge environment where students can explore. For an example, virtual reality can be used to take students on a field trip to a different ecosystem, even travel in space. This can make abstract concepts accessible and provide a great learning experience. Lastly, I will give an example of how teachers can collaborate and co-learn by sharing online space. A digital space like a Padlet will allow students to share their thoughts, research, and link to resources. The teacher can discuss, offer guidance on using different tools, and help students evaluate their credibility. This approach fosters a collaborative learning environment where students can learn from each other and the teacher while developing their digital literacy skills. Thank you for listening to my video. That is all for today. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.